You're going to love this. Trust me, what you're seeing now is my normal state.
Welcome, I'm Spaghetti King, and I'm beginning my ASMR reviews with what Lelouch would rightfully say, who may be the greatest ASMR artist we observe, Mei Neko ASMR. We appreciate her so much, the daily content, the daily grind. We love it so much. We love Mei, we love her content. So I'm covering what she put out today, which was a video in which the listener, let's just say the listener, basically saves this Neko girl from, well, she was kicked out of her house by her mother, it is explained. She's told to go and live with her brother, but she doesn't know where he lives, so I guess she's kind of just sitting out in some rainy alley. And then, you know, you, the gent that you are, come in and you take her to your home in some apartment, I presume. You know, whether it's high-end or not, I don't know. You know, but you know, you take her on this little misadventure from the humble alley into your car, into, you know, the entrance to your little apartment, and she doesn't like elevators. And you take her along, and you know, you just treat it to her little quips. So I will say that if we're talking about like a plot progression kind of angle, very good, because you know, you start in one place and you end at you know, at a set destination. It's very clear how it progresses. I'm not at all confused about you know, where we're going or what's going on. The quips are entertaining and funny, and kawaii and common, and it's all good along the way. And that's one thing with Mei, is her Neko isn't exactly like, I guess I would say, the standard Neko. Because number one, I've never heard a Mei say, like, master. Ever. And that's like the Neko standard. The Neko standard is like, master, yeah. I hear very few nyas. I think, not heard very much nyas. I think I might have heard a couple. Never heard her say, like, master. Ever. And I don't know if that's, like, a personal thing. I don't know if that's just her style or whatever. But she just doesn't do it. Granted, Mei is not... I mean, her name is Mei Neko ASMR, but Neko's is just kind of one aspect of her content. She's not like, I don't know, Tomoe or something, where it's like the main thing, mostly. And you know, I used to say that Tomoe was like best Neko. I really didn't like argue it that much, but you know, this was kind of like pushing the envelope, because that was some good kawaii Neko right there. That was some real kawaii Neko. That was taking it to another level on this. So I was very pleased with this overall. Love the progression. Found it very wholesome, of course. She does have that kind of like duper element of the Neko, where she's kind of like dazzled by these very quaint things, where you go off and you're like, can you use your magical phone book to find my brother and find his address or whatever? Not in that language exactly. Is this where you live? It's massive. But and you take her, you take her on the elevator. She has to hold your hand because she gets scared of the elevators. You know, I don't mind whatsoever. I don't mind whatsoever. Don't mind in the least. And then you get into your room, and you even have the little fun part where you have like you know, jumbling for your keys, and you know, it's a situation we've all been to whenever you go to someone's apartment, is when the guy has to pull out his little keys, and you know, you're just kind of sitting there for like 30 seconds or a minute or whatever. It's just kind of you know, it's just the grit of reality right there. But you know, it's a place we've all been, and I kind of appreciate that you just had that little part. It's just, you know, it's a subtle thing, but you know, you have all that. And then you, you know, get to the end point, and she has like a drink of water after she says that she's very hungry. And I will say, don't interpret this in any weird way, but those were good, like, water. Those are good, like, water drinking sounds, you know? Like, that you know, on like, the ASMR audio element. I actually thought it sounded like a real, I thought it sounded quite engaging. I thought it was quite immersive. I thought it was a good sound element. So don't interpret that to mean anything other than what it is. You know, it is what it is. So you know, that's what it is. You know, don't overinterpret. But yeah, and you know, you take her to the end. She thanks you. Oh, you're not a bad person. Thank you so much. You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. You're welcome to stay in my humble abode. It's my pleasure. Then she asks for cuddles, as any Mei wholesome video would, and then it cuts out with her purring, and that is kind of like a Neko minimum. You gotta have at least have a purring scene. So you know, she has her purring, and it fades out the video with that, which is pretty good because one of my really only very few criticisms I could ever have for a Mei video is sometimes she keeps talking in the last 20 seconds of the video, so you kind of have like the end title card coming on while she's talking. I mean, I don't really want to bring, you know, that mention to it, but it is a thing. But this time, it faded out perfectly, because it goes to her, like, purring, and then it fades out right there, and then she, you know, stops talking. That's the end of the audio, so good one on that. I didn't mention it, but I believe all Mei audios begin with a fade-in. Fade-in is... I basically have, like, a criticism on that end. So you have a fade-in, where the video, like, goes from black, and then it fades in. And then what I call a dynamic opening is when there's some kind of, like, animated title thing pops up. That's usually the best-looking one. And then there's, like, a no fade-in, which is kind of like the worst intro. But Mei, I think, always has a fade-in, so... So, you know, there we go. Good, very good audio. Very, very good audio from Mei Neko ASMR. As we expect. Mei-chan, among the best, possibly the best of the ASMR artists. And, you know, I have some, you know, credited boys who would back me in this statement, so I'm saying it. Alright, so let's see. I got my rating here. What do we rate it? Audio, 5 out of 5. The wholesome rating, 5 out of 5. And the overall rating, 10 out of 10. So that's what I'm saying. Now just to explain this, because we're kind of like early on here, the audio, before I start that actually, with the numbers, these are not very strict numbers. I'm not someone who's very strict with a number rating. So for example, 10 out of 10 for me is not like sublime perfection. 10 out of 10 is above average in all aspects with minimal to irrelevant flaws. That's what I consider 10 out of 10. Because I don't believe in like perfection of art or whatever. And I'm not rating it on that kind of thing. So above average in all aspects, flaws minimal or irrelevant. So that's 10 out of 10 for the overall rating. The wholesome rating is basically the more lewd it is, then I reduce points. That's basically what the wholesome rating is. So, for example, Lewd Kawaii ASMR, if you've ever seen her, although she kind of like deleted her videos, so, she would be very low on the wholesome rating. Probably pretty good on the overall rating, because I do like her content, but very low on the wholesome rating because she makes generally lewd content. And, basically the more lewd it is, then the lower the wholesome rating goes. And finally you have audio, which is pretty simple. Lowest is if I can't even, like, hear it at all. So that's 1 out of 5. 2 out of 5 is I need to wear headphones or turn it up really loud to hear it. 3 out of 5 is I can mostly hear it, but there are a couple gaffes. 4 out of 5 is nearly good, nearly pretty much perfect, but just the tiniest flaws. And then 5 out of 5 is pretty much perfect audio. And audio, I guess I'm a bit more strict, just because audio is easier to get right, I would say. But that's how the ratings work. Went on a little bit long because I had to explain the ratings, but that's how it is. So okay, there you go. Mei, perfect today, as we say. So once again, credit to the Mei-chan. We love her. So all right, thank you for watching. I'm Spaghetti King. I love you all, and farewell.